Hello. Welcome back to the channel. I am so excited to be here with y'all today. I hope you've been having a wonderful week. I hope that you really enjoyed the last episode. It has been such a great week for me. I just had a really good one-on-one session with a coach I've been working with, and I'm just so excited about life right now. Like, truly, I'm just so excited about life. If you're excited about life, put it in the comments. Tell me something you're excited about. And yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it though. This is going to be a quick video. As you can tell by the title, we're talking about 5 low vibe habits that are keeping you stuck. And I'm also going to tell you how to stop doing those low vibe habits, okay? Because that's important. Jumping right into it. So these are also things that I struggled with, and these are things that I no longer do. And they have really helped me to consistently stay at a very high vibrational point. When you are at a high vibrational point, you are going to be able to attract so much more of what you want out of life, whether it's money, whether it's relationships, friendships, just a really good meal, whatever it is, you're going to be able to attract so high because you're irresistible. The higher your vibration, the more irresistible you become. And these 5 things are things that keep you not so irresistible in a lower energy standpoint and the such. The first thing is complaining. Please stop complaining. If you are a chronic complainer, let me know in the comments. I'm not going to judge you at all because I too used to be a chronic complainer. And to be honest, I come up from a family atmosphere of complaining, and a lot of times we're complaining and we don't even recognize that we're actually complaining. And it's so easy to subtly dip into complaining without recognizing it. Whether you are complaining about someone that just cut you off and just saying, why did that person just cut me off? They didn't have to do that. You didn't have to complain about it either, because it's literally not going to change your day. It's literally not going to change the situation. You know, right? Okay. So complaining is really big. Stop complaining. The one thing that has helped me to stop complaining is I read A Complaint-Free World by Will Bowen. I read this book last year, 1.5 years ago, and it literally completely changed my life. I wasn't great at it at first. They have a challenge in there where you put a little bracelet on your wrist, and every time you complain, you have to change the bracelet to the other wrist. First of all, that in itself is just annoying, constantly having to do that. And once you do that a good few times, you start to recognize how often you complain. And then it becomes so annoying that you just stop complaining, because who really wants to switch a bracelet back and forth day in and day out? And also, one thing when I first started the challenge, because I did the challenge, I had to restart the challenge a few times because I wasn't great all the time at remembering to change the bracelet back. And so that also made me recognize how often I was complaining, because sometimes I would just completely forget to change the bracelet back. And I was like, wow, I've been complaining all day. I didn't even remember to change the bracelet because it would have been back and forth all day, girl. That would have been really annoying. So that's a really great book to read. I highly recommend checking it out because it really helped me. And when you begin to recognize how often you complain, it'll kind of just turn you off, because I think a lot of times we can recognize when other people are complaining, and it's a turn off. You have to admit that it is a turn off when people are constant complainers, even if it's very low level complaints. And when you recognize that in yourself, it's going to be like, ew, that's what other people have to listen to all day. That's what I'm putting myself through all day. Ew, ick, immediately. So I don't complain anymore, and I really want to encourage you to stop complaining so that you can stop being stuck. The second thing that is very low vibrational that's keeping you stuck is gossiping. I feel like we probably all kind of inherently know that gossiping isn't the best thing to be engaging in. However, you still find yourself gossiping, or maybe you end up being around others who gossip. Also, back to complaining for a little bit. Do your best to not engage with others who complain. So when other people complain around me, I literally don't engage. I will just straight up ignore them. Like if I'm on the phone with someone and they're complaining, I just won't respond, especially if someone sends it via text or something like that. I legitimately will not respond. I will not say anything because I'm not going to engage in your complaining. I don't condone in complaining, and so I'm not going to encourage you or feed into your own complaints. Another thing that you can do if you do find yourself around others who do complain, I would encourage you to tell them to stop complaining. That's really irrelevant and not going to help. People are going to do what they want to do and they can change on their own. So you can encourage them to read the book that you've read, or you can also pivot and turn their complaint into a perspective of, oh, well, maybe this is a good thing, or maybe look at it like this way, or how like a positive spin on it, basically. So that's what I do. I just either don't engage and just let them go on and complain, because the thing about complaining is if you disengage especially with someone else, if you disengage, one, of course, you're not going to complain, but then also they're going to stop complaining because they're going to recognize, or at least they're going to stop complaining with you because they're going to recognize how silly they sound. And now you're not feeding into it. You're not giving them any energy. So if they're not receiving any energy, why would they want to continue? Back to gossiping. It's the same thing for gossiping. So gossiping, of course, is very low vibrational. Why talk about things and people that have nothing to do with you? And a lot of times I think we can look at gossiping as something where we're maybe just bad talking someone. But I believe that there's a certain level of good talking of someone that's also gossiping. Telling someone else's business that has nothing to do with you is also a form of gossiping, good or bad. And a lot of times, one of the biggest things I can recognize that people do is gossip about celebrities or high level people. And that is, to me, one of the worst levels of gossiping, because you don't know those people and they don't know you. So why are you talking about someone you don't know and they don't know you? Double whammy. Like, literally, this is so irrelevant. Stop engaging in irrelevant things that have nothing to do with you. That is, I didn't put that on the list, but that's something else that you can do. But so gossiping is also one of those things where you have to take a step back and be like, why am I talking about this? Why are we having this conversation? Why is this the dialogue that's going on right now? Is this adding anything to my life? Most likely not. Is this getting me closer towards who or where I ultimately want to be in life? Most likely not. And when you ask those questions, you are more effortlessly able to cut out the activity that you're doing that is not contributing towards your life, towards your next level, whatever it is. Gossiping is also something that you have to watch out that others are doing. I disengage with gossiping. This is also an instance where if someone else is gossiping around me, I literally will not engage. I will not respond. Or if it's a very awkward situation where like, I kind of can't not respond, I will again put a positive spin on it. Or just pose the question of like, well, why do we care? Like, literally. Another thing that was a low vibe habit for me and that has also helped me get unstuck and that can help you get unstuck is telling other people your business. This is a really good one because a lot of times I think we can get in the habit of telling our friends and our family and, our loved ones, especially our business. And when I say your business, I just mean like decisions that you're making, next levels that you're going to, new projects that you're working on. And when you tell others your business, it can easily end up where you have more limiting beliefs than maybe you had before, where you have other voices that aren't helpful. I don't tell anyone my business unless they are already at a level that I want to be at, or they have surpassed me at a certain level. So most of the time, those that are really, really close to you maybe aren't at the same level that you want to ultimately be at. So if a good rule of thumb is if the person is not 10 levels ahead of you and they're also not at a level that you ultimately want to be at, stop telling them your business. Stop. Just literally stop. Stop it. So I have found that a lot of people in my life, friend or family member, I have a lot of successful friends, and even friends that are successful, they are not at the level of success that I ultimately want to be at. So it's irrelevant for me to tell them my business because they ultimately aren't where I want to be. And maybe in certain areas of life they are, so I can tell them certain things about myself and, bounce ideas off of them about that. But if the ultimate idea is, if that person can't contribute something substantial towards where you ultimately want to be, it's a little bit irrelevant for you to be conversating with them about where you're currently at or what you're currently doing. Because again, their limiting beliefs may become your limiting beliefs. Their reservations may become your reservations. I often see this a lot of times with people and their parents, and this used to happen with me and my parent. And I would tell my mom certain things, just to share, because that's my mother, and that's what you do. Just to share and just to tell her about my life. But I started to recognize that my mom's just not where ultimately I want to be. And so before or while I'm in the depth and the throes of making the decision, completing the project, going to that next level, I can't provide too many details. I can't tell her too much information because her limiting beliefs are going to easily become my limiting beliefs, even if they're unspoken. So be aware of that. A lot of times people won't just outwardly tell you their limiting beliefs. Sometimes they will, if you listen closely, but a lot of times they won't. And so you may be, head first into a new project, and then you're chatting with your new project about a friend who is still at her wherever she's at in life and is nowhere near where you want to be or going even in the same direction that you're going. And then a week later, you find yourself having some severe limiting beliefs about your project and questioning it, whereas a week before you weren't questioning it, and you're wondering why all of a sudden you're questioning yourself and yada, yada, yada. That's why. Because now her limiting beliefs are yours, because you allowed yourself to engage with someone who isn't going in the same direction as you, who isn't doing the things that you're doing. So stop telling others your business. Another thing is comparing yourself. We all know that comparing yourself isn't the best thing to do. Comparing yourself is not going to get you where you want to be. And I even find myself a lot of times still comparing myself because we are community creatures. And I think especially in today's society, it's really hard to not compare yourself when you're seeing so many varieties and options and, ooh, that looks shiny and pretty and good. I want to try that too. That's probably a good idea too. It's really hard, especially in the information loaded world that we live in. But if you want to stop comparing yourself, the best thing you can do is to start recognizing where you do compare yourself and to just cut that activity out. For instance, for me, I don't watch people's stories on Instagram because I started recognizing that is a place where I easily will go into comparison mode. And so whether, it's something I do or don't really want to do, it's easy for me to start questioning like, oh, well, why is my life not like that? Why hasn't this happened for me? Why am I not doing it like that? Like, why is that working for them? And yada, yada, yada. So I don't watch people's stories. And sometimes when you decide to stop engaging with the activity that takes you to comparing yourself, it's gonna look like you're ignoring a lot of people, you're ignoring those in your life. And you probably are, but that's just the thing you have to sacrifice in order to get yourself to the next level, in order to keep yourself from being stuck, because comparison will keep you stuck ultimately. The last thing that you absolutely need to stop doing, a low vibe habit that will keep you stuck, is procrastinating and waiting until later. They're basically one and the same to me. So when you procrastinate, or when you say, well, I can do that later, or I can plan for that later, or it'll be later at a better time to do that, you're just holding yourself up from the next level, but maybe even a lesson that you need to learn. So the best thing that you can do is to do it now. Literally do it now. That is my favorite motto, honestly. I personally used to be the queen of procrastination. And honestly, it was truly disgusting how much I used to procrastinate and just put things off and wait until the last minute. And one, that led me to having a lot of anxiety. So when I was at the height of my anxiety, I procrastinated so much. And it really took me becoming aware that procrastination was leading me to having so much anxiety, where now when I have a task come up, when I have something I don't want to do, when I have something that I do want to do, and for whatever reason I'm like, well, maybe I can just wait until later, maybe this will be the best time to do it, I can plan for that for next year, next month, whatever, I have to pause and say, actually, why don't I just do it now? Why don't I just do it now? There's nothing inherently that's going to be holding you back from doing it now. Maybe you can't do it right now in this moment, but maybe you can do it in an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, maybe tomorrow. So when you stop procrastinating, you propel yourself forward into the life that you ultimately desire. I have a quote, it's on my door, and I freaking love this quote. It literally says, speed transcends time. When I heard that quote, it literally changed my life. That is one thing that helped me completely disrupt and destroy my procrastination, because it's true. Speed does transcend time. The faster you go, the further you'll go quicker, period. Literally. The example that was given to me with that was when you're on a treadmill, if you're going, like one speed on a treadmill, you'll ultimately will get to 3 miles, but you'll get there really slowly. It might take you, 30 minutes to get to 3 miles. Well, it might take you longer than that. I don't know. But anyways, let's say a mile. If you're going speed of 1 on a treadmill, it might take you 30 minutes to get to 1 mile. But if you're going speed of 5 on a treadmill, it'll probably take you maybe 10 minutes to get to 1 mile. So speed transcends time. And so as I just implemented and allowed that to resonate in my brain, I've really been able to drop out of procrastination. And when I don't want to do something, I literally repeat that statement to myself: speed transcends time. Speed transcends time. And that has helped me stop procrastinating. That's allowed me to start doing things that I just kind of don't want to do in the such. All of those habits have really helped me become unstuck and propel myself forward into living the life that I ultimately want to live, into elevating myself, into becoming the ultimate version of myself. So if you have found yourself to be a little bit stuck, or you just want to refresh before 2024 begins, you want to make sure that you are primed and ready for the new year to become all that you can be, in the new year, I highly recommend assessing your life, seeing which of these things that you're doing, and start implementing, start pushing those things out. Literally push them out the door, girl, because you don't need to be doing them anymore. They're not contributing to your life, and they are not taking you where you want to go. Let me know in the comments which one you're going to be doing. Not that you're gonna be doing, please don't do any of these. But let me know in the comments which one you're going to be cutting out so that you can ultimately become unstuck and elevate yourself to your new level and just completely level up your life. I would love to know. Also, make sure that you are following me on Instagram and on TikTok. I'll have my Instagram and TikTok linked in the little description box below. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to message me. The DMs are open. And I love you, and I will see you in the next one.